Thank you. So welcome. As I've already said, my name's Tony Sarr. I'm the President of ASMOF New South Wales for the last few years. And for those of you who are not ASMOF members, we are your union. And so we clearly would encourage you to join. What it means that we are the union is that the New South Wales Government has to negotiate with us for new awards. That's improvement in working conditions, changes to on-call, recall, changes in rights of prior practice and so on for senior doctors. And for junior doctors, the basic award itself. It's pretty clear to most of us that the awards, the Senior Doctors Award and the Junior Doctors Award, are no longer fit for purpose. They're outdated. They require modernisation. They fail to provide adequate incentives for doctors to remain within the public system, resulting in the loss of experienced doctors to private practice and interstate and trainee doctors opting for locum positions. You will also recall last year press around the fact that Sydney Children's at Westmead could not attract new graduates to their intensive care or their anaesthetic streams, that they were going interstate where they got better money and better working hours. So where we've got to the point where there's a Labor government now. They've said that they will review the industrial relations system, but right now, today, the award expires on the 30th of June. The Liberal government legislative wages cap is still in place. And so all that the Labor government do right now, today, is give us an offer for a 12-month period. Now, that offer has been in the press, and so we have a press release of an offer of 4% and 0.5% to comply with the superannuation guarantee contribution. We received an offer in writing in the last 10 minutes, but we haven't read it. I don't think we can work on the basis of it. We need to see it. We need to consider it. So at this point, we're operating on the basis for a press release of 4% and 0.5% for superannuation. However, a much more positive note, the government has announced an inquiry by ex-Industrial Relations Commissioner, Chief Commissioner Roger Boland and Anna Booth, ex of the ACTU, into the entire New South Wales industrial relations system. They've been asked to do a report in the next 3 months, and the plan would be to make significant changes to the New South Wales industrial relations system to allow for interest-based bargaining by the end of this calendar year. But they can't do any of that by the 30th of June, which is why essentially we've got this temporary offer. There are two options for us, but my sense is all we can do is accept this press release offer, and depending on what's in the letter, assuming it's the same thing, that we have approached the minister already to ask him to get the ministry to start negotiating with us. They have declined for the last few months, saying we don't have writing instructions. So it's going to take 3-6 months to renegotiate both the Senior Doctors Award and the Junior Doctors Award. So the sooner we start, the better it is for all of us. If we have to wait till November, December, then it puts it off for another 6 months. So we've already done all we can do, which is say to the minister, tell the ministry to start talking to us. They have not as yet at this point. So, but in a formal sense, we have two options to consider. We vote it up or we don't vote it up. And we will run a ballot of that, a plebiscite of our members. We will send out an email to all members and ask you to vote. It'll be a Survey Monkey style of thing. We're not going to spend money on this, but clearly it's something that we will shepherd and we will take care of so that we are confident in the vote. So tonight we're going to discuss those two options, and our manager of organising the industrial strategy, Sarah Davis, who's on the screen, will give you the information about those two options. And so when you're asked to vote, you can make an informed choice. After her presentation, we'll then allow some questions. So I'll hand over to Sarah. Thank you.
Hi everyone, thanks Tony for the introduction. My name is Sarah Davis. I'm the Manager for Organising and Industrial Strategy here at ASMOF. I've had 20 years working in public sector industrial relations, including 5 years as the Industrial Officer at Unions New South Wales, the peak body, with the carriage of public sector industrial relations, and most recently 5.5 years with the New South Wales Nurses and Midwives Association doing strategic industrial relations. So I come here with a background working in this jurisdiction, in the state jurisdiction. And I'm really looking forward to working with ASMOF members, particularly on award reform. As the President just outlined, there's a big work ahead of us, and doctors should have their voice heard in that process, you know, and that will be a very consultative and deliberative process. So I'm really looking forward to that. But why we're here today, and I'm going to share my screen, is to discuss the wage offer that is before us. So the awards that determine the wages and conditions of doctors working in the New South Wales Health Service are due for renewal on the 1st of July. The New South Wales Government will make a formal offer to renew these awards, and as the President said, that was received 10 minutes prior to the commencement of this meeting. As a democratic union run by doctors for doctors, it is you, the members, that determine whether we accept the offer or oppose it. I want to make that really clear. As the President's already said, this will be done by a ballot and it'll be done democratically because it's your union. So what's the offer as we understand it? Well, it'll be for 1 year duration. It'll be a 4% increase to wages and wage-related expenses, and an additional 0.5 percentage point, 0.5%, increase in the superannuation guarantee, which will be on top of the 4%. So it's a package offer of 4.5% for 1 year. The context, as you'd all know, inflation is running at a record high, 7% for the year to March 2023. We're in a legal environment where the wage cap of 3% instituted by the former government, and that's including super, is still in place. That doesn't expire until later this year, until September. The Labor government's indicated they won't renew it, but again, that remains to be seen. This offer is higher than any offer made by the previous government. So the highest offer made was last year, 2.53%. To wages, plus the additional 0.5 percentage point on super. But previous offers were below that. They were 2.04%, 2.5%, 0% during COVID. So it's well and truly higher than any offer we've seen before by a margin of about 60%. So what happens if we accept the offer? Well, if we accept the offer, doctors working in the New South Wales Health Service will receive a 4% increase to wages and wage-related allowances, applicable from the first full pay period on or after the 1st of July 2023. I should note that it may take administratively a month or two for the payroll systems to be updated, but that increase will be backdated to that first full pay period in July. Members, as a union, will then campaign over the next 12 months for award reform for salaried doctors. This is important. Our aim is to have substantial changes made to the awards in the next round. And why are we waiting until 1 July 2024? Well, there's two main reasons. One is legally. Whilst the wages cap is in place, and that's not just wages, that's wages and employee-related expenses, we are unable, through the Industrial Relations Commission, to achieve any arbitrated outcomes or any changes to the award that increase employee-related expenses beyond that cap, which basically means taking a pay cut to fund any changes to the award. That's just not viable. It's not something we've ever entertained. So from a practical point of view, we can't do that until the wages cap is gone. But more importantly, this is a once-in-a-generation opportunity for us to really reshape the form in which doctors are compensated for in the public health system. And we know that other states are doing it better. We know there are other ideas out there that we need to consider. We know that some things in the order is simply just not fit for purpose. So there's a lot to be done. And to do it, we want to do it right. So that's going to involve a large amount of consultation with members, local health district by local health district, specialty group by specialty group, to ensure that we've canvassed a wide range of views. It'll involve a large amount of research. We're not going to go in half-cocked to try and change this award or these awards in a once-in-a-generation opportunity and do so without a solid evidentiary base. So we want to make sure our claims are well evidenced, well researched, and are representing best practice. So they're the two reasons why it will take us, in my view, 12 months to campaign for that significant award reform that we all know the system desperately needs. And so that goes to my third point. This will give us time to develop the list of priorities, but also to research them and to evidence them. What happens if we reject the offer? Well, we're in a bit of a pickle. The renewal of the awards will be determined by the Industrial Relations Commission if we don't consent. Due to the wage cap, the Industrial Relations Committee would be legally bound to make awards that increase wages and wage-related allowances by no more than 2.53%, given that the Commonwealth Government has legislated to increase superannuation. So just to be clear, the package or the offer, as we understand it, which will be confirmed in writing, is for 4% wages plus an additional 0.5%. If we go to the Industrial Relations Commission and they have to arbitrate the matter, they are legally bound to award no more than 2.53%. I want to make that really clear. That case would take likely several months, 3 to 6, I would estimate, and the Industrial Relations Commission would be under no obligation to backdate the increases. And I know pay is not the most important thing for members here, but when that is the main change on the table, delaying that is for a lesser result is a bit of an own goal potentially. And finally, if we reject the offer, given that the IRC can't award us on merit an arbitrated outcome of more than 2.53%, what we really need to do is shift the decision makers, shift the Labor government. To do that, as a union, we need to demonstrate our collective will to seek a higher offer by applying political pressure. And that would look like, potentially, low-level industrial action, potentially stop work meetings, potentially political campaigns in the community, trying to convince local members of parliament that doctors deserve more. This is something we've seen both with the Health Services Union at the moment, have taken industrial action to try and get an increase in their offer. It's also similar to the approach that the New South Wales Nurses and Midwives Association took in their campaign for ratios. They knew the Industrial Relations Commission legally couldn't award it, so their strategy was to get the public on side and to get the government of the day to change it. So what next? All members will receive an email ballot to vote once we receive a written offer from the Ministry of Health. Because we've received that tonight, we anticipate, unless the offer is different to what we've been led to believe, that ballot will go out to all members from 10 a.m. tomorrow. I make the point, and the President made it clear earlier on, that this is a ballot of ASMOF members. It's not a ballot of all people or all doctors working in the public health service. And that's because the Industrial Relations System of New South Wales respects that ASMOF is the union for doctors, and therefore we are the party that makes a decision democratically to either consent to the offer or to reject it in the Industrial Relations Commission. We have an institutional role. So if you haven't received your ballot, we're anticipating sending them out tomorrow morning, but if you haven't received your ballot by Monday afternoon, the first thing to do is check your spam folder. We know that these mass emails sometimes do get caught up, so that would be the first step. But if you still haven't received it, contact the ASMOF office, and you can call us on the phone number. You can email us asmof@asmofnewsouthwales.org.au. And voting will close, so the ballot will be open for approximately a week. It will close 3 p.m. Friday, the 30th of June. That is a hard deadline because we will need to indicate to the employer by close of business Friday, the 30th of June, whether we accept the offer or not. Really important, really important. We need as many people to vote to ensure that the result is truly representative of doctors. As I said, this is a democratic process. We're giving you the power to make your decision as to how we proceed, whether we accept this offer or whether we reject it and can't try and campaign for a better one. To do that, though, in any optional voting system, it needs to be representative, and that relies on a high turnout. So, firstly, for those of you that might not be members and are here today, I encourage you to join. You can go to bit.ly/join ASMOF or Google ASMOF New South Wales, and I'm sure you'll find our Join Now page. Anyone who joins before the ballot closes will be entitled to a provisional vote subject to their membership being accepted by council at the next council meeting. And of course, once that ballot closes next Friday, tomorrow week, we'll inform members of the result via email and what the next steps are. That's a lot.